Hello, and welcome back to the studio for another unboxing. And yes, this time it is lenses again. You go, don't you have enough lenses? Well, I do, and I don't. And I will explain. But if you don't care about my explanation of why I bought these two lenses, well then you just skip on to the next chapter and I'll start unboxing them. And then the chapter after that, I will put them on some cameras and show them off a little bit and demonstrate why I bought them. Why did I buy more lenses? Well, of course you know why. Damn it! Well, it's not all his fault this time. If you go back and watch a lot of my lens unboxings over the last couple of years, you will see that I have focused almost exclusively on wide-angle lenses. I've got the Sigma 16 over here. I've got the Sony 20mm over here. I did have the Sony 10-18 on the A7C, although I now have a different lens over there because I'm using it for a slightly different purpose today. So I have a lot of wide-angle lenses. And yeah, I bought another one. I'll explain. But the main thing I bought was this, the Sigma 24-70 full-frame FE F2.8 DG DN lens. And why did I buy that one? This angle right here that you're looking at me on, that's the Sony 20mm on the A7 IV. While it's doing a good job, if you'll look, let me cut to this camera over here, and you will see that I have to have it on in this weird setup where it's on this tripod that extends it forward out over the table. And even then, I have to use the APS-C crop, get it in on my face, rather than have it just another full body shot like I have coming from the Sigma 16 over on the FX30. And that's a bit of a pain. So I need a longer lens. Now, I have longer lenses, but they're all like the cheap, crappy kit lenses, you know, the f3.5 to 5.8, those kind of things. If you know anything about lenses, you know that the kit lenses tend to be crap, but they also tend to be very cheap, which is why I bought them, because it was like $100. But you get $100 worth of lens. This is $1,000 worth of lens. So I got this because I wanted a longer lens so I could replace the 20mm with a 24-70 so I could move this camera back. If you look in this other angle, you'll see it's right here. If you look at this angle, you'll see it's right there. In fact, sometimes you can see it in the edge of the picture, in the edge of this frame. And I didn't like that. So I want to get a longer lens so I can push this camera back and still get the close-up of my face when I turn and talk directly to you. Although I'm talking directly to you this way too. I don't know, this feels more intimate. Call me crazy. Well, I'm sure you've called me crazy many times if you've watched the channel. So that's why I bought this lens. How does Mark Bennett play into all this? Amazon Prime Day. He did a video about the things that were on sale for Amazon Prime Day. By the way, this wasn't one of them, but this one was. And I already did a video about this lens. If you check up here and down below, I did a couple of shootouts with it. I rented one of these and decided I didn't really need it. Well, if I didn't need it, then why do I need it now? Because I have another camera coming. Also the fault of Mark Bennett's camera crisis, the A6700. Because after I watched his videos comparing it to basically all of the cameras I own, I realized I have to have this camera. It has all these cool features. I may end up using it over here to replace this camera, the FX30, because it has the keep you centered in the frame. So I could be like moving around and it would look like I was being tracked by a camera operator, whereas it was just a smart camera. So this is for that when it comes. The reason I bought all these wide lenses was I was going to do vlogging, which, as you know, I hardly ever did. There's like a couple. But I had an idea, which you may see coming. If you follow me on Instagram and you look at what I post Instagrams of, you might get an idea of what I might vlog about. Shameless plug to get you to follow me on Instagram. By the way, I don't even promote this channel on Instagram. I mainly just well, you'll see if you go look, you'll see what I post. That's why I bought this lens, was for the new camera and for maybe some vlogging opportunities in the future, and I bought this lens for here. But again, you probably don't care about any of that, in which case you already skipped ahead. So if you already skipped ahead, well, you are here now. Now we'll get into the unboxings. Let's do the little one first. because there's not a lot to, well, they're lenses. Very economical, although this isn't that environmentally friendly. I'm going to show you this in action in a minute. I'm not going to really talk much about this because there's this whole other video where I go into it in detail. Oh, also in the box, we have the big old stack of manuals. I can understand the cameras having the thick stack of booklets, but really? For a lens? Now, it's a fine lens. Again, if you want to see more about it, go check out that video. Although I'll run through the specs in just a minute after I get this one out. Well, let's get this one out. This is the Sigma 24-70 F2.8 DG DN. Has a warranty, 4-year warranty. Details on back. Oh, look, comes with a little strap. Oh, and a case. Oh, I mentioned Prime Day, and then I dropped that train of thought. What I ordered on Prime Day, based on Mark Bennett getting me to go look, well, I bought this on Prime Day and saved like $100. I ordered the 24-70 Sony G Master, and I thought it was a fabulous, fabulous price. Yeah, and it was an okay price because it was the old one, not the new one. I thought I was getting a $2,300 lens for like $1,400. No, I was getting a $1,600 lens for $1,400. The $2,200 lens, and well, by the time I realized my mistake and went back, it wasn't on sale anymore. I didn't want to spend $2,200 on a lens anyway, when this one is $1,100. So I sent that one back to Amazon when it arrived. Oh, nice case. Look, it's got the thing to protect. This is a really nice little carrying case. And the giant lens hood. And then here is, ooh, this one's heavy. Oh, this one's very heavy. Nice rings. And look at all the switches. This is a fantastic lens. We got a lock switch, so you don't accidentally, you can overpower the lock. It's locked, so you can't change the focal length, but if you push really hard enough, it'll trip the lock, so you're not stuck looking for the button. Then we have the focus on and off, autofocus on and off. It's a nice lens. Well, anyway, now that I got them both out of the box, let's talk about them. So again, the 11, this is an APS-C lens, which I will, by the way, for today's purposes, I have the old ZVE10 that used to be up here. That problem with the NTSC mode thing coming up every time, not such a problem when it's not hanging up over your head. I'll be putting this on that in a minute to give you some look at how that looks. By the way, if you want to see how it looks out walking around and vlogging, again, go to this video. This little guy is like 2 5/8 inches by 2 3/8 inches, 181 grams, 6.4 ounces. Again, f1.8, minimum focus distance of 6 inches, which is really good. 104 degree angle, 55 millimeter filter, thread, autofocus, not stabilized. This guy, on the other hand, 3.64 by 4.84 inches, 835 grams. That's not ounces, that's 1.8 pounds. This is a hefty baby. Now, I'm going to be using it on a tripod, so it's not going to be a big deal. This is the one I'll be carrying around, hopefully, maybe someday. Yeah, we'll see. And this is f2.8 throughout, so is the Sony FE 24-60 G Master. Minimum focus distance of 7 inches. By the way, the G Master is over 8 inches, so it's a little bit better there. Angle from 84 down to 34, 82-inch filter again. Basically, this is the Sigma knockoff of the Sony G Master. Half the price and not half the quality. Those are the specs. These are the lenses. Tell you what, why don't we take a little break and I will reconfigure my cameras here. I'll put this on this guy and I'll put this on the little ZVE10 over here. We will now pause for some lens realignment.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Welcome back. Oh, look. In fact, if you look over from this angle over here, you will see that instead of the tripod being over this way, I've moved it around here and I've taken the extension and pushed it back, and I'm sitting at about 24, but I'm sitting between 24 and 35. You be the judge. Is this about the same as the angle over here with the 20 with the APS-C crop mode on? To me, it looks about the same, but I'm looking at a little tiny thing. we're the same over here. Now over here, this is the ZVE10 with the 11mm lens on it. Looks a little darker. F1.8, 50th of a second, ISO 100. This is the most light it can take in. This is an F1.8 lens, the 11mm, and we're at ISO 100, 1/50th of a second shutter speed, and you can see the F1.4, the Sigma, the other Sigma. Now I have two Sigmas. The other Sigma is F1.4 at 100 ISO 150. So this one's getting a little bit more light. I think I might have to kick the ISO up over here. Okay, so I bumped up the ISO here, 800. On the little screens, it looks darker. And I'm smaller. Let's go over to this camera, and you can see that ZVE10 is less than 6 inches in front of the FX30. And so 16mm, 11mm, yeah, this is going to be wider. The 11mm is not a studio lens. And in fact, if you want to see it in action outside of the studio, like walking around in my backyard, go look at this video. But this is the one I was really interested in for the studio. And I gotta say, I like it more. I'm able to frame from farther away. I could pull it around the table so it's not at such a sharp angle. So now I just have to turn my head slightly to talk to this camera rather than I was having to look like all the way over here. I like this better. Hello, 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 hello. I set this all up in a few minutes. I messed around with the ISO a bit. This ISO is at 32,000. I'm gonna have to do some calibrations and get the ISO straight and everything. This lens is working the way I wanted it to. It now frees up the 20mm if I want to put that on the A7C. I'm happy with this purchase. Well, I'm happy with this purchase, but I don't know how often I'm going to use this lens. But I'm going to use this lens a lot. And these two with the 16mm, so now I'm an all Sigma studio. I got the Sigma 16mm on here and the 24-70 on here. And I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with this setup for the studio, and I'll get this one figured out before I start using it. And by the way, I'm probably going to end up using this one outside. So when the A6700 comes, I'll have the ZVE10 and the A6700 and the A7C. So I will have 3 potential vlogging type things. And then for the studio, I will continue to work with the FX30, the A7 IV, and the ZVE10, the white one, which is my overhead camera. Clear as mud? Yeah, even I'm confused. And, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I think if you watch the channel, you know I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I watch Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis, because he explains some of this stuff. I'm going to have to learn a lot more about cameras, aren't I? I think when you have this many thousands of dollars invested in cameras, it's time to learn a little bit more about how the cameras work. I understand the concepts, it's the execution. That has been the unboxing of the Sony 11mm F1.8 APS-C lens and the Sigma 24-70 F2.8 DG DN lens. This one is a great purchase. I like this thing a lot better. The 20mm was just not, it worked great downstairs when it was sitting on the table right in front of me, but now with this setup, it has to be on a tripod past the table, and it was just, I couldn't get it close enough. But now I have a lens with a longer reach. So that's the unboxing. This lens is gonna work out eventually. Again, it's very wide. Look. I'm pleased. This hasn't been the greatest video, but it worked out okay for me, so I'm happy. So I hope you can be happy for me. That's it for now. You know that there's an A6700 unboxing coming as soon as they start shipping those. I got my pre-order in on the first day, so I should get it. According to B&H, it should be here around August 3rd. It should ship around August 3rd, so I should have it around August 5th. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. I'm waving again. Why?